I wouldn't necessarily call myself a sports person, but boy do I love sports. What sports exactly, you ask? Wow, what a loaded question from you. I'll have to think about that. All of them, obviously. And maybe not all of them. I think I got into sports during COVID, because that's when I watched this super underground anime called Haikyuu, and I never grew up athletic, so my world was open. Around this time, my city's hockey team was facing this big rivalry competition, and I wanted to be a part of the action. I didn't understand all of the rules, but I was invested. Then high school rolled around. I went to a pretty sporty high school. We had this thing called homecoming, which I thought was only a thing in the United States. But apparently we have it up in the north too. Except our homecoming wasn't a dance or a party. It's just a football game. American football. To this day, I don't understand the rules of the game, but I had a lot of fun. Later, volleyball season rolled around, and my school hosted a big 3-day-long volleyball tournament, and I volunteered for it, so I got free entry to all the games. I think my job was security, somehow. Mind you, I'm not very tall or muscly, so I don't know what prophecy the volunteer coordinators had, but I didn't have any altercations. You're welcome. While I was securitying, my friends and I were watching a game with two schools we didn't know. So we picked one based off of vibes. This was our favorite team. They were dancing and being silly and looked like they were having the best time. That was the junior tournament. A few weeks later, my school would host the junior high or middle school tournament, which I also volunteered for. I was a lines keeper, so I got to hold the big red flag, very powerful role. And for another game, I was a scorekeeper. Now guys, this was the final game. Let me set the scene. It was junior high, so no one cared. It was held in the smaller room where there isn't any seating. Third, it was a bronze game, so that's like extra no one cares. And fourth, it was a Saturday and we were at school. But most importantly, the game would not end. In volleyball, in order to win, you need to win by 2 points, and there's no point ceiling. So this game kept on going. We end up 90 minutes past schedule, so all the volunteers were so bored. Mind you, most of them had been there the whole day. Eventually, a team won, and because no one cared about this game, the people who were meant to do the medal ceremony were not there. So guess who got to do it? That's right, baby, I got to do the medal ceremony, and even though these kids were only a year below me, I was so proud of them as I went down the line and put a medal over each of their heads. Then, it was basketball season, and my school also hosts basketball tournaments, which is the same thing as volleyball tournaments, but basketball. From what I've noticed, people normally like basketball more. And because it's halfway through the school year, people were more warmed up and comfortable. So the culture is more hype, which makes it extra fun. This time, I was a host. Because a lot of these teams were from out of the city, they don't really have anyone in their corner. So as hosts, we got assigned a team, and it was our job to make them feel welcomed and to cheer for them. I'm normally pretty quiet, but best believe I had no shame screaming at the top of my lungs for these teams, because these were my people now. There were times I had to go against my own school though, which was so mortifying, but I, like the good host I am, affirmed it. From then on, every time I volunteered, I was a host, because it's the most fun, and we got official looking t-shirts. So picture senior year, autumn, senior volleyball tournament. Me and my friend were hosting this team, the same team we fell in love with when I was securitying 2 years prior at my first tournament. And most of the players were the same too, so I was so excited. And they won this game, and their girls team won too, so their whole school was happy. It was the last game of the night, so we were closing up the gym. They got on their bus to go home, and we went out to the parking lot too, to also go home. They saw us, opened the window, and screamed, "Thank you!" at us, and it was so cute. Here are some things I've learned after hosting so many tournaments. The girls' teams are so much nicer than the boys' teams, but the crowd is generally more hype for the boys' teams, so it ends up becoming more fun, which is a bit misogynistic if you ask me. The junior tournaments are so lame in comparison to the senior tournaments. Most of the volunteers really didn't care, and mostly used it as a way to skip class. I shouldn't be admitting this, but once my friend and I really didn't want to be in our social studies class, so we told our substitute teacher that we were volunteering. We're chilling in the bleachers, watching the game, on our phones, super unbothered, and then our entire class walks into the gym and sees us not volunteering. But I don't think the sub noticed us, and that was all that mattered. I got inspired to make this video because of the World Cup going on right now. The usual sport I watch is hockey, so I was gonna compare soccer, football, to hockey. For example, in soccer football, they don't stop the clock at all. Every time there's a goal or a foul or the ball goes out of bounds, they just keep going and add extra time at the end, which I actually really like, because in hockey, a 20-minute period will take 40 minutes. Also, soccer football players fall down down so easily. There's a pretty common quote in the hockey world. I went to a fight the other night and a hockey game broke out. Injuries are part of the game in hockey, but these soccer football players are so dramatic when they fall. Another thing about soccer football I've learned is that games are allowed to end in a draw. Like, that's part of the game design. In hockey, if there's a draw, it becomes a sudden death, and they keep playing until someone wins. But soccer football doesn't really care. I don't really have an opinion about that, but it felt relevant enough to mention in my list of observations. Even though I'm one of the least athletic people on earth, I love watching sports. I love the camaraderie and the energy. It's my favorite thing when a city comes together when their team is in the finals. The best part of the World Cup is how united everyone is. And people who don't usually watch soccer football, like me, are tuning in to support their country. If any of you are on the World Cup side of social media right now, it's really endearing. It's like this one big cultural moment that everyone gets to be a part of. I love sports.